Surprise! Inner demons, ego deaths, and tower moments are on the horizon. But while life might hand you some harsh lessons, we've got the antidote to soothe your weary soul. Why not try a dragon's blood bath? Or schedule a Reiki aura repair? With books, herbs, talismans, candles, and more, we put the Shazam in shadow work. Visit Magus Books at 1848 Central Avenue Northeast in Minneapolis or magusbooks.com.
Are you one of thousands of individuals who know you have psychic abilities but don't know how to tap into your higher self? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who offers classes that can help you reach your goals. Refined Divine holds classes Monday and Thursday at her 2 locations and via Zoom. Classes consist of manifestation, learning psychic abilities, shadow work, and healing trauma. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
This is Psychic Medium Deb. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for cloudy skies tonight with a low around 66. Saturday, a chance for thunderstorms with a high near 82. And Sunday, partly cloudy with a high around 80. Crooner Supper Club invites you to check out the stylish Maggie's Lounge before or after your show. It's a welcoming atmosphere, and it's a perfect place to catch up with friends before or after your show. Maggie's Lounge is open Wednesdays through Saturdays beginning at 4:30, so stop by for cocktails and light bites. More at croonersloungemn.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story. This is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun.
And this is GhostBox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakun. Thank you very much for joining me. It is Friday, and we are very excited to get into the weekend. I am pretty sure I can speak for everybody on that. Just a quick programming note for tonight. We were supposed to have psychic medium Refined Divine joining us in studio tonight, but unfortunately, she is unable to take part in tonight's program. So I just want to let everyone know. I mean, we just pivot. This is what we do. We just go ahead and we pivot to whatever. But I do want to also remind everybody that Refined Divine, Deb is actually in Minnesota right now. So it's a real bummer that we aren't able to see her. But if you want to see her tomorrow in Maple Grove, you just want to go down to the Maple Grove Community Center. She's doing walk-in readings from 10 to 5. It's the Maple Grove Psychic and Healing Expo. Okay, it's the Maple Grove Psychic and Healing Expo that she is going to be at tomorrow, 10 to 5. Go in, get a reading. You're going to, if you've been watching the show and watching her on it, you know that these are fantastic readings. Sunday, she's going to be doing a psychic gallery at 11 a.m. at the Lake Elmo Event Center, part of the Holistic Healing and Health Fair. So once again, Saturday, go out to Maple Grove to see her. She's doing walk-in readings as well as the overall Maple Grove Psychic and Healing Expo. Then Sunday, it's going to be a psychic gallery with Deb at 11 a.m. at the Lake Elmo Event Center, part of the Holistic Healing and Health Fair. So there's some great stuff that is coming up here that you can actually go and say hi to her, see her, get a reading in person. It's unfortunate that we don't have her tonight, but we'll get her soon. And she'll be back on, I think, even next week, if I'm not mistaken. Next Wednesday, we'll have her on for one question reading. So all is not lost. And all is not lost because we have Adam over in Eden Prairie. How are you doing tonight?
Doing well. Hope everything is going well there in your abode.
It is, you can't complain. Did a little bit of grilling tonight and, the usual. So, it's all good over here. No offense. I hope you didn't take offense that as soon as Deb decided that she couldn't come out tonight, that I was like, yeah, I'm not coming in either. I hope you didn't take that personally.
No, I saw it when I got up from my nap in between my full-time job and this one.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
I'm just like, yeah, okay, whatever. And I think I just sent back the generic okay to you.
absolutely. Yeah. Well, you knew it was generic because it wasn't a right on. If it's, if you were awake, I'd get a right on.
Yeah, you would.
So,
Yeah, it was just
so
kind of.
I'm that's just kind of how that works. A couple things. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we're going to be talking about today. Amongst them is I want to talk about a little bit later that global tech outage that happened this morning. That I want to talk about that a little bit later here. But also, there's just some other things that we're going to get to. But I want to also open it up to anybody who has anything that they want to talk about. You can put it into the comments. You can call in tonight, 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. I also want to talk a little bit about the Myth or Mystery episode last night that aired that my friend John and we recounted our experience of seeing what we couldn't identify in the sky, a number of them, and it was pretty spectacular. This was a couple years ago, but we talked about it, and I might want to talk about it a little bit more as well. But I definitely, if you have something on your mind, put it in the comments, or if you have a question for either of us or whatever, go ahead and do that tonight. And once again, you can call in 952-946-6205. Other than that, I just wanted to also say, and I know that you're going to be seeing this Sunday, Adam, but I saw Twisters on Tuesday night. And that was kind of fun. That was a good I think you're going to enjoy it. I think the whole family's going to enjoy it.
Well, as we were talking off air, both my daughter and I, Twister, the original movie, is one that we'll, if we're looking for something to do, we'll just watch Twister on Max, or even if it's just on TV, we'll stop and watch it. We both absolutely love that flick, and my thought is, as we were talking earlier, it's like, does it stand up to the first one, or is this a completely different flick? And what you were saying is, it's very different, but the same at the same time, because they did essentially update with everything that's going on in the world, or at least in the world of storm chasing.
Right, and I think too that there's key moments in the first film that I don't want to say get recreated, but there's certainly nods to, and I mean there's set pieces, basically. But what you missed out on was media royalty being at the theater on Tuesday. And just because it is advanced screening, sometimes you get some of the the creme de la creme of the media scene.
So other than you, who was there?
Well, I mean, I'm not counting myself, of course, but I mean, it's very flattering that you thought I meant me. No, but and some of these you may not know because they're from a long time ago. Have you ever heard of Rusty Gatenby?
Okay, yes, and I one-upped him at Les Miserables in like 2003. I had better seats from my radio station than he had from Channel 5.
It's just like,
okay.
No, I never thought Les Mis would be a part of this conversation. I'm happy though. You're really bringing up the auteur of this program.
I've been to Les Mis. Did I understand it? No. Did I understand that the kid at the beginning was the same Jean Valjean at the end? No. The wife had to explain it to me. But that's beside the point.
Yeah, clearly.
I had better seats than he did.
Well, okay, so he was in the row in front of me. Thankfully, you weren't there because there might have been fisticuffs. It sounds like
maybe there's a couple other old school media people that back when I was in media the first time around, I'd probably get in fisticuffs with.
Me too. Okay, but also I think I saw Jason from the Jason Show as well.
I had never met him, but he seems like a good dude.
Yeah, so I mean. I was there, and I would have said hello, not in like hello, we're good friends, more like hello, I know who you are. But I tend to not want to bug people. I mean, they're just out to have a good time. Now, if Schrader was there, I would have bugged him. Obviously he was.
Well, but that wasn't a horror movie.
No, but I know that he got the tickets as well because I actually talked to Tim Dennis. Well beforehand, because I thought, Tim, are you going to be there? And he's like, nope, I'm not going this time. So, I mean, I think they were offered it, but I definitely, I'm going to have Tim on the show here. I think within the next couple of weeks, we'll get Tim Dennison, and that will be fun. That'll be fun. He's a fun guy. He's a nice guy. Be good to chat with him about all sorts of things. For those of you who do not know what I'm talking about, Tim Dennis was co-host with Dave Schrader on Darkness Radio when I was on a local radio station here for a number of years. And, as I've said before, that this was that was kind of, a lot of people are like, ooh, Art Bell, that's probably what got you wanting to do a radio show. Honestly, it was Darkness Radio.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
Darkness for you?
What's that, Adam?
It was Darkness for you. I used to listen to Art Bell in syndication when down in Indiana for years on little, antenna radio, finding a frequency that had him late at night and just being enthralled.
Well, the thing is, okay, so here's the thing. Art Bell I've always enjoyed, obviously, but it was Schrader and Tim Dennis. I don't know why I don't call him Dave Schrader. I'm like Schrader. But Schrader and Tim Dennis, listening to it, that was when I was starting to get the bug again to do a radio show, do something. And, it's just like I loved how they were doing it. It was fun. And it was local, and it was like, whoa, you could do local paranormal radio. And 45 years later, here we are. But we got there eventually. And so yeah, it was very much, and because I remember Dave would talk about how much work it would be for them to put on a show every night. And I thought, boy, I'd love to do this, but that does sound like a lot of work. And here we are. And I wouldn't disagree that, yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into it, but boy, is it fun. So yeah, it'll be nice to have Tim on and just chat and stuff. And he also went to Brown.
Oh, another brownie.
He is another brownie. Yep. And don't worry, folks, we're not going to have another situation where Adam says he went to Brown and I'm going to do, oh, you went to Brown, I didn't know. So I'm well versed now that we got that part taken care of. We know what's going on. So
that was awkward. We didn't know we both went to school, but granted, we didn't go there at the same time.
No, you went much later.
Yes, I was going to leave that part off to not tell the age difference, but yeah, I did go much later than you did.
There's an age difference. And speaking of radio, I'm just going to put out there too. Next week, I am filling in for Matt McNeil and the Matt McNeil Show on Thursday and Friday, 3 to 5 drive time. So that means that the first hour I'll also be heard in Chicago on WCPT, and then so it's going to be interesting. It's not going to be about ghosts. It's not going to be about spirits. But I am going to try to bring some different sorts of interviews. And one person I'm bringing in, his name is Randy West, and he is a broadcast. He's a broadcast historian. But some of you may realize or may not realize that for quite some time he was also the announcer for The Price is Right. Mm-hmm. And he, broadcasting to me is so interesting, and I absolutely love it. And that's why I want to see he is going to be on. But I really am excited for that. And, the 3 to 5 drive time hour is a lot of politics. Generally, I don't talk about it all that much. I will a little bit Thursday and Friday, but I also want to bring some different vibes to it. You know what I mean? Do some different stuff and kind of do it. Do that show my way while Matt's out. Matt, he has Nancy, I think Monday, Tuesday, JP on Wednesday, and I'm doing Thursday and Friday. So I'm really excited about it. I appreciate the fact that they don't think I'm going to destroy the show and they're going to put me on. So, it's good. We're good. So
it's going to be a blast. I wish you all the best out there. I will try to be able to tune in, but I'll probably be at work while you're on, but I will do my best to participate. And of course, when Greg's filling in on the Matt McNeil Show, it is a participation show. Feel free to call in.
And well, Greg, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't know if I want to. I don't know if we want to go that far.
You want to talk to him. You want to talk to everyone.
I'll talk to anybody. Absolutely. So, so I'm excited. I'm excited about that. That's going to be a lot of fun. Just a couple other things when I was kind of putting the show together tonight, and I know I've talked about this before, but I watched it again tonight. and it's still, we talk about The Simpsons quite a bit on here. You drop a lot of quotes, stuff like that. I just keep rewatching the show, and tonight came around season 34, the episode "Not It," and you remember
that's the Pennywise.
That's the Pennywise, absolutely. Krusty as
yes, that is so creepy.
I think it's probably one of there's like 2 or 3 from that era that I consider almost the absolute best of The Simpsons.
And the thing is, it's like everybody, I think when they hit about season 28, people are like, it's enough. No, it's not. There are gems in every season.
I think so.
There are absolute gems.
Do you remember the one that was Todd Flanders who lost his faith? And
Yes.
And it does kind of borderline kind of very kind of religious, but in a sort of different sort of way.
Mhm.
But I think it's an absolutely beautiful episode of one trying to find their inner self.
It really is. And yeah, when Todd did that, but the best part of that episode was the fact that he turned to Bart.
Yeah.
To find his inner self.
Well, and the fact too that he does a thing where the Homer and Ned get in, like they get hit by a car and they're in a hospital and they're in heaven actually. Mm-hmm. And Marge says to Todd, "Are you sure there isn't anything you want to pray to? You don't have to pray to any sort of God. Prayer can be inner dialogue with yourself." And he does so, and it's like this him kneeling, and all these words are coming out of him just because he's not saying it, but you could see it, so that he is trying to he's trying to speak out to whomever he can for help. And I just think it's such a sweet and beautiful episode. And we are in season, that had to be like season 27, 28, something like that. It's so good.
That one was probably about 5-6 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, all the ones that I watch, it seems like they're so recent, and then you, like you said, you look to see, oh gosh, that was a long time ago. Mm-hmm. It's actually much longer than you think it is. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. Why don't we do this, Adam? Why don't we go ahead, take our first break? When we come back, I want to talk about the tech outage. Anything else on anyone's mind? We can just keep things rolling here. We got lots to talk about. And anybody have questions, put them in. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950.
Reach your highest level of consciousness and well-being with metamorphosisconnections.com. Metamorphosisconnections.com is an online directory of the best holistic and metaphysical practitioners to help you make your most informed choices. You can search metamorphosisconnections.com for classes, events, wellness and life coaches, plus metaphysical products and shops. You can also search for a wide array of healers from all modalities, including EFT, sound healing, energy healing, light therapy, ancestral healing, shamanic healing, reflexology, past life regressions, hypnotherapy, yoga, and more. And if you're not sure where to start, the search feature on metamorphosisconnections.com is tailored to help both those who know what they are looking for and those who are just starting. Come explore the possibilities for your higher self by visiting metamorphosisconnections.com. Their experienced practitioners can guide both beginners and those that are already on their spiritual journey. That's metamorphosisconnection.com, your link to direct you on your spiritual transformation.
Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
Greg Bakun here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef. So check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
We know you value buying local, especially when it comes to your magical supplies. So if you're looking for grimoires, decks, jewelry, candles, or herbs that are locally sourced, then come on down to Magus Books and Herbs. Curated for your ritual, ceremonial, spiritual, and spellwork needs, we've got all the tools to make your working extra. So make that prosperity ritual one that keeps on giving by visiting us at 1848 Central Avenue Northeast in Minneapolis, or visit us online at magusbooks.com.
And welcome back to this Friday edition of GhostBox Radio on AM 950. My name is Greg Bakun. We have Adam back at Eden Prairie watching over things. Tonight we were supposed to have on Psychic Medium, Refined Divine. She had to cancel tonight. And we'll get her. I mean, she'll be back on Wednesday with us. But I do want to just remind folks that you can see her in the Twin Cities tomorrow. She's going to be at Maple Grove Community Center doing walk-in readings from 10 to 5 over at the Maple Grove Psychic and Healing Expo. That's tomorrow in Maple Grove. Also Sunday, she's going to be doing a psychic gallery at 11 a.m. at the Lake Elmo Event Center, which is part of the Holistic Healing and Health Fair. To get more information on all of these, go to her Facebook page, Refined Divine, and see what where everything's at. I mean, you can find out more information that I'm giving here, and it's going to be good. I think I'm going to stop in over at Maple Grove tomorrow. I know that you're going to stop in as well. So yeah, it's gonna. I'm looking forward to it. Now here we go. Here today, waking up to hearing about tech disruptions across the world that have hit airlines, banks, businesses, schools, government, along with some sort of health and emergency services. 911 in some areas were not available. One expert said it would be the largest IT outage in history. Now, obviously, the first place that I go to, is thinking, well, is this some kind of terrorism or something? But apparently, we're being told that this is a glitch that happened with a company called CrowdStrike, and CrowdStrike is all over. You know, they service all of these places for cybersecurity. Adam, do we have all of our eggs in one basket?
All right. Sorta, we do. And I worked for a network security companies for about a decade. That was here in Eden Prairie. It no longer exists. The company is no longer there. It was called TrustWave.
Okay.
And at one point, a couple of our customers, Dunkin' Donuts and Papa Murphy's, were a couple of our customers. And we sent out a giant network patch to their firewalls. Or excuse me, it wasn't a network patch. It was a firmware update. But the person who did it didn't stagger the firmware updates and took all of those stores throughout the U.S. offline for 2 days. So I understand how this kind of thing can happen.
Yeah.
Is it excusable? Absolutely not. Does there need to be a plan B put in place, whether it be by these private companies or the federal government itself, or even down to state governments? I believe so. But letting single third-party proprietary companies run this much important stuff, you are right. We are putting all of our eggs in one basket, and it is not a good idea.
I mean, even though it's all IT stuff, it really goes to show that there is still some kind of human error that takes place, and that was the glitch, right?
I think we've all seen the movie Office Space, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, he forgot the decimal, so instead of a fraction of a penny, it ended up becoming full pennies, and you know, they ended up, granted, they all got away with it, but it would have been, you know, huge embezzlement.
Right.
So it's kind of the same thing, you know.
Totally.
You got to have somebody proofread or, you know, edit your coding. It never fails. When I did work at TrustWave, I will say we had a couple of great guys there. And when they were coming up with new programs, new everything, new firmware updates, there was always 2 or 3 people who would take a look at it.
Yeah.
So I think that's, you know, that's a tool that these guys will need to do in the future. You can't just have one IT guy being like, all right, here's the new coding, enter. No, it shouldn't work that way.
No, no, and I think, and not to get into like any of the events of the last weekend, because that's not really what this show is about. But I really feel like that I wouldn't be surprised if they do have people looking. But when you have people who are just not invested, or they're not paying attention, and let stuff like that happen. I mean, and we saw it this past weekend for a different event altogether. That stuff is just not that is not being looked at closely, or there's huge breaches of security. I think that sometimes it feels like that, that you just need one person to catch it, or else you realize that 30 people didn't catch it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and it
It's
just falls through the
ridiculous.
cracks.
Yeah.
And yeah, not enough safety nets when it comes to important issues like today and this past weekend, and both physical and cyber securities.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Here's the thing, though, that gets me every time. First of all, let's take the 911 part of it and put it to the side. That's horrible. That is horrible. Okay. But how easy it is for us to get frustrated. And I listened to a few interviews today, and a woman that was interviewed, I think she was over in like O'Hare or something like that, and she's like, my plane was supposed to leave at 3. It's now going to leave at 5. And I am, she's very upset about it. She is, worked up about it. She's just like, my kids are going to be hungry, and they want to relax. And, maybe because I don't know if you all know this, I don't have a heart. So there's that to start with. But the thing is, it's like, and also, not only do I not have a heart, I do not have children. So I mean, I'm speaking from a place of acting like I know it all, and I don't know anything. But the point I'm getting at, though, is like, a 2-hour difference on a day like today. I think you should consider yourself extraordinarily lucky. I think
the flight could have been canceled altogether, and they would have been looking for a hotel room.
Right. And maybe even having to pay a little bit more to get back, in the queue. And it's like, okay, your kids are hungry. Well, you know what? An airport has restaurants. Is it cheap? No, but I'm sure you could give them something to hold them until they get home. And it's like, and I want them to be able to relax. Well, so do I. I want to be able to relax, and you just don't do that in airports. Yeah, that's not great, but too bad. I'm sorry, too bad. I mean, it is what it is. Now, for the people who are stuck for days, I've read about one who is in flight because he's getting married, stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, there's some really sad situations. Once again, putting the 911 stuff to the side, because that is horrific. That is horrific.
Yeah, that does not need to happen.
No, and once again, to me, all eggs in one basket, where it's like, why isn't there something else? And why is that being controlled on a national level? Why isn't there a way to do a local like I don't know, network or something? Because you're calling 911, you're not calling to a help center in Spokane, Washington, and it gets to the Twin Cities. You're calling the Twin Cities. You're calling the area that you need to.
Mm-hmm. It should be down to county and state.
Right. I think so. I agree 100%. So I am, it's scary. And, right away, I have a lot of, yes, Danielle, I know so it's like, I'm trying to put aside the other stuff. It's like it messed with other medical systems. No, very well aware of that. I mean, that's the whole point. It's in my mind, this is a glaring mistake, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that thinks that either.
No, I mean,
a glaring mistake of having it all through whatever these people are called again, CrowdStrike.
Yeah, CrowdStrike, or Skynet, or whatever they're wanting to call themselves. But then you look at it, someone in my situation where I do shipping and receiving, for those who didn't know. I could do UPS. UPS wasn't affected by this, but FedEx was. So I couldn't get any of my stuff scheduled, but at least I could still get them packed up, and I'll schedule them on Monday.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can still find a way to work around it. And unfortunately, we have a lot of folks in the professional world that have become so reliant on these third-party IT companies essentially controlling everything, that there were a lot of customers of ours who were just offline all day. And we work primarily with grocery stores and HVA and HVAC systems,
Yeah.
so that when you go to a grocery store, your meat's still cold.
Right.
But a lot of them couldn't even operate.
Well, and imagine too the whole FedEx thing. I don't know how much gets shipped these days that are like, I mean, apart from like the usual stuff that ultimately, if it doesn't get there the next day, we're okay. But what is some of the stuff that is being shipped that is critical, absolutely critical to arrive the next day? And we set ourselves up in a world where we are unable to fail because of the deadlines that we impose on us and the way that technology allows us to set up those deadlines. You know what I mean? It just, I mean, let's look at how I used to do advertising back in the day when I was in the 1990s, and we would have these commercials that eventually would be sent out on film or whatever, and we'd have 3 weeks set aside just to create the dubs and stuff for it and to send out to stations. And now we are given less than half a day to get them to stations because everything is through the internet. That's great, but the problem is when something like this happens, we don't allow ourselves time, because if we have less time that we need to create stuff to deliver it, we're going to take up that time with production, which is like, oh, we're going to make this stuff look better because we have more time. Well, now what do? That's an example that doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, it's not a huge deal. But when you're thinking about medicines and stuff like that, where people are relying on that, it's scary. It's very scary.
Yeah, and we were talking about the FedEx thing a moment ago. They do medical criticals.
Yes.
So whether it be a blood sample like my wife would draw at her work to have to get out, or whether it be something to the effect of a kidney transplant,
right?
That's got to get out. And if
that's what I was talking about.
Yeah. There aren't a lot of, helicopter companies that are going to be able to move either. So if it's in state, you're still not going to be able to get it going unless somebody is willing to drive it.
Right. Now, Stacy says that we had an entire emergency system go down because someone did a reply all back in the 2000s. I remember that being like, we're all very scared about it, but we didn't do anything. We didn't really do anything about it. Luckily, it turned out all right. And I feel like that's what we do in a lot of situations. We worry about a lot of things, but we really don't do anything. We're more of like a wait and see society. I feel like, like, oh, this is scary. We're gonna scare everyone about it as well. But we're gonna do something about it. No, because maybe it might work out. And that's not exactly the greatest way to go about it either.
No, unfortunately, as a society, we are very reactionary.
Right. Well, and I also thought I saw an article about, and I think this actually was from a couple days ago, so I think it's actually not near us anymore, but it's like there is an asteroid that was the size of a cruise ship coming our way.
Yeah, it's going to barely miss us, but apparently it's going to be visible in the night sky. So, if it's not cloudy, you'll be able to see it in a couple days.
So, because there was one that passed by a couple days ago as well. So it's just like, one of these days, it's going to happen one of these times, and it's like, do we get the soundtrack to Armageddon out there? Do we get Aerosmith to sing while we land on when we land on an asteroid to blow it apart? I don't know. Emily,
I don't know if I'm going to trust Bruce Willis and Ben Affleck to blow up an asteroid.
Well, not Bruce Willis anymore.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, that probably shouldn't have.
But anyway, we still got Steve Buscemi. He's still there.
Yeah, we still do. Emily says, late as always. Yes, you are. She's like, wait, stop the presses. What are we talking about? Would it be easier if we just restart the whole show for you, Emily? Is that
the intro?
Yeah, we'll just start again. Here we go. Let's just here we go. So anyway,
All right, back to Twisters. Okay, no.
Yeah, let's talk about Twisters yet again. Emily's like, would it be too much? Not for you. No, not for you. So we were talking about the big tech outage this morning. I mean, is it still out? I mean, we know obviously it's still probably the after effects of it is
on 169 South heading down here. There was still one of the electronic billboards that had the blue screen of death.
Nice.
And I know by like 3:00 when I was wrapping up stuff for the day, FedEx still wasn't letting me get on there to schedule anything. So they were still having issues with scheduling pickups.
Wow. Now, without getting political, I think it's fair to say society in general is a little bit on edge these days. I mean, I don't think I'm grasping at straws over here, right?
It feels like it's been on edge since 2001.
Right. It's been on edge for a little while. So it's like when something like this happens, it more and more, and I think people feel like that we're coming to some sort of junction, I think, with like what's going to happen to us. I think people are kind of like, we feel like it's ramping. When something like this happens, it scares a lot of people, not be necessarily about, the tech stuff, this is horrible, I can't get on a plane or something, but more like it's happening. This is all the stuff I've been afraid of for years and years. It's happening. This is just one step. This is another, so it's, I don't know about you. I have a lot of friends on Facebook, and a lot of them are mediums. A lot of them are conspiracy theorists. So, I mean, today you can just imagine, I knew this was coming. This is it. We're starting. It's all this stuff. And I'm not making fun of them because it is like, I don't know what to expect anymore. I mean, the stuff that seemed, ludicrous 4 or 5 years ago is now like, it's happening daily to us. So I don't know anymore what's what. So it's like, I can open my eyes too. That's why I said to you, do we have too many eggs in one basket? And yeah, I think we do.
Yeah, it does need to be spread out more where there is more safety nets so that something like this doesn't happen. And, you take out the emergency situation, you take out the medical situation. For the most part, today with the outage was just an inconvenience. And unfortunately, we as a society in this country, we are the country of conveniences. And we get totally, no matter what side of the aisle you want to be on, we all pull our hair out when something is not convenient for us. And I think that's kind of where a lot of people are reading way too much. It's like, well, this is really inconvenient. The sky is falling. No, Chicken Little. Somebody put an S where they should have had a $ encoding. We'll be fine.
Well, yeah, and that's why I talked about that woman with the, the difference in flight between 3 to 5. Mm-hmm. In the grand scheme of things, you're getting off lucky. There's a lot of people who, like today, might have had a heart attack, called 911, couldn't get through. Yeah. The reality is that's frightening. That's horrific.
That's terrible. Yeah. And me missing a flight. Ooh.
Right. I mean, first of all, I have to fly to miss one. But have you heard any death toll around it? I mean, I'm hoping there isn't, but I mean, just the kind of the logical thought of like, if you can't get through to 911,
we probably won't have any information like that for a couple of days when people start doing wellness checks on other people because they haven't heard from them from a couple of days. So that's when we'll probably figure out when 911 really wasn't working, when Bill doesn't show up to work on Monday and nobody's heard of him since, Thursday when he had his 4-day weekend scheduled.
Absolutely. Why don't we do this, keep this really high energy, fun, light episode of GhostBox Radio going here. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about everything that we've been talking about, bring up some other stuff. If there's anything you want to talk about, put it into the comments. We're listening. You are listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950.
Are you one of thousands of individuals who know you have psychic abilities but don't know how to tap into your higher self? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who offers classes that can help you reach your goals. Refined Divine holds classes Monday and Thursday at her 2 locations and via Zoom. Classes consist of manifestation, learning psychic abilities, shadow work, and healing trauma. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
This is Psychic Medium Deb. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
The Tilted Tiki, located in downtown Stillwater, helps you get your tropical tiki vibe on with a large selection of fantastic tasting tiki cocktails served in unique and fun glasses, a menu of delicious food ranging from small bites, craft tacos, sandwiches, and more. Plus, don't forget they have live music Wednesday through Saturday nights. Located in downtown Stillwater, the Tilted Tiki is your tropical relaxation restaurant in Minnesota. Visit thetiltedtiki.com.
Greg Bakun here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations, exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information. So talking about the Minneapolis Trolley Tour, I got this sent to me today, and I was just looking at it. I was like, wow, this looks pretty good. They posted something, I think this is their Facebook or Instagram, where they're saying Minneapolis Trolley Tours are saying another makeover, double the fun. We're getting parade ready for some eye-catching decals. Stay tuned for more clues about our big transformation. Join us at the Minneapolis Aquatennial Torchlight Parade on Wednesday, July 24th. Starting at 7:30 p.m. to see the final reveal. They've been doing some work on their trolleys. You gotta check this thing out. I'm not only just saying it to the folks listening, but Adam, you got to get out there. They do the true crime. They do the ghost candlelight tours. They do a wine tour. Let alone the fact of that mansion. That it's incredible, and I had so much fun out there. And good vibes, good energy. So we're hoping to get something together at some point to get people to go and check it out. But don't wait for us. Go over there, take the tour. It's worth it.
It really is. And when you look at their website, it's very easy to follow. It's got the dates that they're doing it. You just click on there, put how many people you're bringing, and book. It's very simple. They send you an email right after, give you the confirmation, the time, and the address, where to go. The true crime one is the one I want to do. That's going to be hopefully coming up on my calendar second week of August. I'm looking to do that one.
Nice.
That one's going to be a blast. And it's relatively inexpensive. I think the tickets are only like $35-$40, something like that. Very inexpensive, but definitely check it out. Like he said, they do the haunted, the true crime one is the one that just fascinates me. Because I don't know, I didn't realize or know that there's a ton of like real crime and some real messed up things that happened in Minneapolis back in the day.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So certainly go out there and check it out. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. And if you do book tickets, please be kind enough to let them know that you booked them hearing about our show through GhostBox Radio, because we're good partners, and we just want to let them know and let them see that their trust in us is paying off. So really appreciate that very much. We got Linda in the comments, just like Emily, every single time, just like they're all basically like, what did I miss? I'm here late. What did I miss? So Linda's like, what did the aliens do with Refined Divine? Well, she is not here tonight, and I do want to remind folks that are in the Twin Cities area that you can see her in person tomorrow over at the Maple Grove Community Center doing walk-in readings from 10 to 5 at the Maple Grove Psychic and Healing Expo. So that's tomorrow. Sunday, she's going to be doing a psychic gallery at 11 a.m. at the Lake Elmo Event Center which is part of the Holistic Healing and Health Fair. So definitely, I know that you're going to step out there with Danielle tomorrow. I plan on going a little bit as well. So it's going to be fun. And I recommend very much to go out there and not only see her, but see other practitioners that are doing their thing tomorrow. So it'll be a lot of fun. So.
And it's 10 to 5, so you have plenty of time to hit up multiple booths while you're there.
Nicole said that she booked a trolley tour for next Friday. She's looking forward to it. Did you mention at all by chance that you heard about it through our show? I hope you did. That'd be super, super nice if you did. So Linda says, I feel that Refined Divine is really a channeler. So cool. Yeah, she absolutely. Yeah, I think that you could say that. And for those who go out there, she gets to the point in her readings very quickly, but you're not going to be wanting any more information because she's going to cover it all. She always does. And she's going to be back on the show. That would be on the 24th, if I'm not mistaken, this coming Wednesday. So we'll be doing one question readings then, but don't let that stop you from going out to Maple Grove tomorrow or St. Elmo on Sunday. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, there's that. What else are we going to talk about here? So many things. I don't think we want to talk about the outage anymore because it just makes me sad. It's a bummer. The whole thing, everything around that is a bummer.
Yeah,
so it really is. One of the things we were going to talk about aliens, but last night on Myth or Mystery, we talked about. I had John Marson on with me, a good friend of mine, and we talked about some of the stuff that we saw in the sky about 2 years ago out in his area in Wisconsin, and just really once again that whole thing about being able to see these incredible images, and when you're looking up in the sky and you see something that is like, I don't know what this is, but it's not. First of all, it's not Starlink. Starlink is a very specific looking kind of like a line. It's a link of light.
Yeah, you can see the chain essentially through the area.
Totally a chain. Just like when people talk about going to Olive Garden, you don't want to. You're like, yeah, it's totally a chain.
Yeah,
that's what Starlink is. Starlink's a chain. But when you have something where you are just dropping ships out of the sky, like they're coming out through this this just portal. It's the best way I could describe it. And comes out and it drops and then it flies off. And we counted about 70 times in a row and we stopped watching, but it just kept going and going. What on earth could that be? It makes no sense. It cannot be anything that is that's man-made, or maybe it's from the future. What do I know? But it's incredible.
I think it's an intergalactic wormhole where they can get from one side of this expansive galaxy to another, like in a snap.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think, what you guys had saw when you explained that, when you were talking about it a couple of years ago, after it happened, when we were talking about on air. I honestly still think that it's an intergalactic or maybe even interdimensional wormhole.
I think it has to be, because I think that the point that I think that really shows the point of how interstellar travel happens, because it can't, people sometimes think of like, well, they get in a ship and they fly to our planet Earth. It can't work that way. It can't.
No, there's only granted, the UAPs that have been captured on camera that seem to be legit, yeah, they move at insane rates of speed, but insane rates of speed isn't going to counteract, when they say 45 light years, it's like 4,500 years. That's not going to counteract that.
No. And there has to be a shortcut.
There has to be. I remember as a kid, me and a dude I went to elementary school with, we were discussing black holes in science class. And both he and I, at like 4th grade, I think, we were convinced that we were going to be astronauts and the first ones to enter a black hole, because we both thought that the black hole was just a tube that would get me to the other side of the galaxy really quick. Granted, we know that's not what a black hole does now, but in 1989, when you're 10 years old, you don't really know that. But I do really think that there are wormholes that these UAPs, UFOs come through to get here or to other planets, because I highly doubt we're the only one getting visited.
No. And so, like last night, I shared this, and this isn't great for people listening on the radio. Sorry. I shared this image of somebody had sent. I saw this on one of the UFO groups on Facebook. And for those who can't see, it is exactly what I was talking about. It's just some sort of like a kind of an opening that looks like air is being sucked into it. And from there, a ship comes out. And this is pretty much exactly what we saw that night. And it's very it was actually one of those things that was like, I'm glad that other people had seen it. I'm glad someone could draw it so well, because it's exactly what exactly what it looks like. And it's like, clearly other people have been seeing this as well.
And they always talk about, when people talk about Skinwalker Ranch and the UAPs, UFOs over Skinwalker. I know UAP and UFO is the same thing. Just I haven't gotten out of that habit yet. But there's always over the Junta Besa, where they say they see objects fly and then just disappear. I wonder if there's a portal like that there, like there is over Wisconsin where you and John were.
Mm-hmm.
Like an exit ramp, if you will, for intergalactic travel.
I don't think that's impossible. Remember, we had that one call come through, and what they had seen was in Wisconsin.
Yeah, there's something about Wisconsin.
There sure is. But yeah, there is something there. Linda says, haven't you had Les Durant on your show talking about his new adventures with talking to UFOs? We had Les Velez on. I don't recall us having Les Durant on. Then she adds, I heard that a change in frequency would put a UFO into an orbit, say around Earth, like they take on Earth frequency. Well, I think frequencies, and I know that Linda knows this, but I think that frequencies play such a big part in everything that that we're gonna do with UFOs, or with aliens for that matter. When we're trying a CE5 experiment, where we're trying to see something, either the ship or an alien themselves, the frequency is a huge part of it, because the frequency can get you to feel emotions. It can get you to feel, and it represents emotions. Some frequencies represent love, some represent something else. So those are things that you definitely want to be able to use, and hopefully use wisely to get. But yeah, I mean, to get a frequency that put a UFO into an orbit, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. That makes a lot of sense.
I was wondering, okay, so I know when we do paranormal investigations and other groups who do paranormal investigations, some of them will use singing bowls.
Yeah.
I wonder if that would work for a CE 4 or 5, using a singing bowl.
I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't. And I mean, that's obviously, like, you go, especially if you go to like the event at Maple Grove tomorrow, you're going to see practitioners using singing bowls, and the purpose of that is to relax the person that's with, but also help clear whatever else is around them as well. So I mean, absolutely. And that's one of those things that I think so many people don't make that correlation, that how connected everything truly is. And just the idea of frequency and how much that connects a lot of pieces together, how that really makes a difference.
Yeah, because there's always that theory that, especially if you're going with the multiverse or multidimensional theories, that us, Earth 1, we vibrate at a certain frequency or tone. Earth 2 vibrates at a little bit different frequency or tone. And then every now and again, those tones will get together and we can see glimpses of the other sides.
Mm-hmm.
That's just so interesting to me, and would love to figure out the key to actually see that, to almost summon it, like you're going to try to do with your CE5.
Absolutely. It's truly incredible. Now, remember, folks, Tomorrow you can see Refined Divine in Maple Grove Community Center doing readings from 10 to 5 at the Maple Grove Psychic and Healing Expo. Sunday, she's going to be at a psychic gallery at 11 a.m. at Lake Elmo Event Center, part of the Holistic Healing and Health Fair. And then Monday, we'll be back. We'll be talking with Char Savoy about some of the stuff that she has coming up. Definitely want to check that out because she has an event coming up, not tomorrow, next week, not tomorrow or Sunday, but the following weekend. She has an event with Maria Shaw. We're going to be talking about that. And she's also going to be one of my guests when I'm filling for Matt next week, because her daughter, Nikki, had done one of the most incredible things I ever heard of. She was able to get a law passed.
Yeah,
and
you guys talked about that at Pride. I want to hear that.
Yeah, and we're going to have her reach out, and she's going to tell, because it's her story. Char did such an amazing job talking about it because we just wanted to be able to mention it. But Nikki is going to talk about Logan's Law, and she's going to talk about what it took to do that. Now, please make sure to visit GhostBoxRadio.com to find past episodes of our radio show, and like us over at Facebook at GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun. Also, send any comments or feedback to comments@GhostBoxRadio.com. Don't forget to check out the best of GhostBox Radio, airing tomorrow at 8 p.m. and Sunday at 4 p.m. on AM 950. And finally, whether you're chasing spirits or just drinking them tonight, please be careful out there. And we'll see you Monday as we talk with Char Savoy. And I'll be filling in for Matt McNeil Thursday and Friday next week. Everyone, have a great weekend.
It's Brad Friedman, host of the Bradcast, weeknights at 7 on